traitor!
Device can be called many things. One of the greatest of all time, an AWPer, annoyingly good looking, but there are two things that he can't be called, and that's Simple or Ziwu. This isn't really meant as a slight, however. The fact that both Simple and Ziwu are competing in CSGO right now at the same time is slightly absurd. Rather, my point is this: Device has built a case for being the GOAT by playing Counter-Strike the right way. It's also the same way he's going to contribute towards NIP's goal of winning that major in Stocko. When a young and up-and-coming AWPer wants to play the role better, you don't show them a demo of Simple or Ziwu running up, entering with an AWP, getting 4 kills, then 1D'ing the last guy. That won't help them very much. Instead, you show them Device. Device's career frag movie isn't as mind-blowing as some of his contemporaries, but he consistently puts up ridiculous numbers year after year anyway. He does this using a combination of preparation, positioning, aim, and, slightly ironically, being clutch as fuck. In order to demonstrate some of Device's voodoo that he do so well, I've watched some of his demos from NIP's recent run to the final of Flashpoint 3. His playstyle is characterised by patience, intelligence, and an understanding of angles. He'll sit on angles for considerably longer than most without breaking focus or falling asleep, and then he reacts to the information that his teammates are relaying to him. On this overpass round, he holds a line into Banana next to toilets whilst they're being cleared, and Rez pushes long. Rez spots cadian on long, which gives Device the information that he can probably take a more forward line, as the worst that's going to face him on sight is a rifle, and he expects to win that fight 9 times out of 10. Here's where things get really interesting. Rez throws a molly to clear out cadian and force him back towards the site. This entire time, Device has been relatively stable, covered and hidden, basically holding just this gap, and not a whole lot else. He can spot the CT jumping, and he can spot anyone trying to take a little more of an adventurous peek, but he's not exposed. When Rez relays the information of the molly being thrown and the AWPer pushing back, that's the first time that Device decides he's going to slightly overextend and look for that peek. cadian doesn't end up coming wide enough, so Device doesn't have a shot to take. This does give him the information that, as of this moment, cadian hasn't crossed. Spotting a different CT jumping on site also tells him that cadian's probably still holding long and probably hasn't crossed across yet. If he has, he's not really a factor on the toilets take until they actually get to the site, so Device doesn't actually have to worry about it. This does narrow down the number of angles cadian could be using to hold toilets from, if he isn't holding long. Instead of just straight up swinging into it, Device does this little check to make sure that the CT rifle doesn't peek off the right side of the box before swinging and picking off cadian. The position Device swings from is slightly unconventional. cadian is holding this pretty standard, traditional angle into the banana area, which means when Device does peek, cadian gets the privilege of seeing an ankle, an elbow, and then dying. Here, another example of Device's brilliant brains over brawn AWPing style. Now, against G2, it's against G2 on Dust 2, they're down 3-1. The long take comes in, and Device is able to get himself up to car. When the smokes to cross fade, NIP's riflers start making noise on the site. This holds the attention of Amanek, who at this point isn't aware that the smokes are fading, but Device is, so he gets a free kill. He misses, then hits on the mid players, leaving the team in a 3v3. In the 3v3, Device on several occasions checks that the long flank isn't coming, as this is the bane of many Dust 2A post-plant holds. The sound of the smoke thrown by the CTs, as well as Hampus's flank, confirms to NIP that G2 are retaking through short. Device takes a look at the platform, sees no one pushed up out of position, checks long one last time, before coming back and picking off the oblivious Nico. Hampus goes down, leaving Device in a 1v1 with Nexa. Nexa jiggle peeks, but Device doesn't bite on it, so when the peek does come in, he hits the shot. He takes a dink in return, but wins the round. A player who can find this much impact with the AWP without being completely wild and unstable is something few teams have been able to find. Even a player like Shiro struggles to actually find impact. His HLTV rating, while stellar, is mostly built off the back of his quite low deaths per round. The other end of the spectrum would be AWPers like Woxic and Poison, who have the impact but really struggle with consistency. Device toes the line brilliantly, remaining as consistent as those low DPR players, whilst also finding impact in the form of multi-kills and opening picks that those less aggressive AWPers often don't find. Another thing that Device provides is a rifle competency that most other AWPers just can't match. This means that NIP can give the AWP to Rez to go for a spawn-based peek without truly losing a rifle. Device without an AWP is still a top 20 player in the world, which is a luxury only Na'Vi and Vitality can really enjoy. It's therefore no surprise that since this signing, NIP have suddenly appeared on many people's lists of teams to watch out for in the major in Stockholm. They'll be on home soil, they'll have one of the best 3 players in the world, and they'll have everything to prove. Thank you for watching this video. If you're wondering where my content has been recently, I've not uploaded prospects in a while or any of the old generic-y talking stuff I used to do. I've been quite busy. I've got studies, got an exam coming up just after the weekend, so that's why I've not been as consistent. I promise the content's going to return to normal once that exam's done and once things return to a slightly more normal state. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, sub if you want to see more, and that's all for this one. Goodbye.